24 karat gold ring. I've never casted a 24 karat gold ring. I bought this tube of gold. I have a question for you. Anybody have an idea what this little tube of gold is worth? I want people to guess, because I'm going to show you right now exactly what it's worth. I think you're going to be quite surprised. So we're going to just weigh this out. So if you want to bring the camera over here, I'm going to put this on the top of the scale and we're going to zero that out. We're zeroed. Now we're going to take the top off, and here's the gold. See that? So I'm going to pour this in and we're going to just see the scale go up. Now listen, there's 28 grams in an ounce, but that's a regular ounce. A troy ounce is gold. Troy ounce is 31.1 grams. So oh, I got a lot left. Anybody have an idea how much gold is here right now? 747. 750. Let's stop at 750 because it won't go much higher. This scale won't go much higher. Let's see. $759.7. All right. 760. 760. I know it's taking a little time, folks, but trust me, there's a reason. 761. 762. 763. I got it. Oh! All right, it's supposed to be 765. And it went. So let's see if I take a pinch off. $770. It's supposed to be 776. But let's say 770. Let's pour the rest in here. That's a little what's left. That little bit is what's left. Now let me tell you, how much do you think that's worth? Remember, this is pure 24 karat 999 gold. And let me tell you, I'm going to do the math real quick. So here, if you took 770, and you divided it by 31.1 is 24.75 ounces times 33.25, that's what it is today, $82,000. That's $82,323 right there. You could buy a really killer car for $82,000. So if you had to guess anywhere near around 70, 80,000, I am impressed. But it's hard to believe $80,000 fit in this little jar. So now, and if you notice up close, it says gold casting grain 9999, 4 nines. All right, so now we're gonna pour it. We're gonna measure out 1 ounce to cast. We're gonna put this on. We're gonna tare it again. It's tared. And we want 31.1 grams, right? Mm-hmm. $32. $31.1. 1 ounce. So now what do I do with all this? All right, let's pour it back in the jar. I dropped a few. I'll have to pick those up. But look how full that jar is. That jar just took a little bit to get 31.1 ounces. I have a few pieces left, but this is going to be used for our casting. So this is what we use to pour the gold into the oven, into the casting unit. All right, so now there's our gold. Can you see that inside? You got it. All right, so let's go in. We'll take care of the rest of the gold later. Look at, we have two dogs here today. Cooper. It's Cooper and Tucker. All right, our temperature is at 1800. Now, one of the problems that most people don't realize is with pure gold, it actually has a higher melting temperature than 14 karat gold. So I actually have to bring it up to 1950 so it melts. $77, $70, $60. I'm going to go a little bit hotter and go to 1960. And when I pour the gold in, it is going to, we are only at 771 degrees, unfortunately, so we have to wait just a few minutes for it to go up. But the next step on this machine, this is a JR2 casting machine. It has a vacuum that's going to suck the air through the investment so that when the gold goes in, it gets sucked in and injected properly. But to save this machinery from burning up like a space shuttle burns up coming into the atmosphere, you have to add nitrogen into the system. This has to be an oxygen-free zone. So I'm turning on the nitrogen, and there's a little lever over here on the side, and it'll go to a 4. I marked the 4. That's where I want it to be. So I have the tank. Turn it on. It's at 1200, 1600. It's a full tank. All right, let's see what we're at. So, all right, if you can come over here, Ellie, I'll switch with you. And now you can see right here, it's a little high. See, it's going higher, it's going lower. We want to keep it right around 4. Right around 4. Right? So now our temperature is about 900 degrees. We still have 1,000 degrees to go. This will go pretty quick, but look inside. It's getting nice and warm. Once it gets hot enough, we're going to pour the gold in here and cast it. This will move it around. So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use borax. And borax is something that will help the gold flow. So you saw the gold in here. And I'm just going to take a pinch of borax and it'll help the gold flow. So I'm just going to take one pinch. That's it. I'm going to put it in. So now I'm just going to put that pinch in. Mix it up. Can't even see it, but it's in there. So the next thing we do is as soon as it's melting temperature, we're going to go ahead and pour it in. Let's go back out and show you what we're making. While we're waiting for this oven to heat up, I'm going to get a picture. I'll bring it in. So today we are casting. I hand carved a ring like this. This is a jade. I hand picked the jade on our buying trip in Thailand. The gentleman came in, I bought 4. So I ended up having 3 for stock. But he bought the absolute best one money can buy. And I made this ring for a men's ring So it's going to be a jade, which is a sign of wealth, and pure gold, which is the ultimate sign of wealth. He wanted this ring 24 karat gold with a jade in the center. So we're going to cast this. After we cast it, I'm going to clean it up and show you how it looks. And then maybe we'll set the stone now, or we'll set the stone at the shop in my store. All right, so let's pick up the rest of this little pieces of gold. Put this away. Did anybody guess $80,000 for this little tube of gold? Were there any guesses? That's $80,000. So would you rather buy $80,000 worth, or would you rather buy a nice brand new car? But this $80,000 will, in gold, is going to be able to make us about probably 50 rings. So, you know, you have to divide it up. All right. Let's see what the temperature's at. The temperature's at 1150, so we got a little bit more to go. Let's set that down. All right. I'm going to get the jade. This is the jade. This is the jade stone that I made the ring to fit. And if you've watched any of the other live videos, you saw me carving the wax for this jade. And there it is. Jade is one of the hardest stones to get because they are mined in Miramar, which is right outside of China. And they're the ones that just had that horrible earthquake. And I'll tell you what, we have not been on good terms with them for many years. Stop. We haven't been on good terms with them for many years, so we stopped trading with them. They brought the stones to Thailand, and we're able to buy them in Thailand, so that worked out. But it used to be a stone like this might be $100, $200. Now it's up to $2,000 for that stone, maybe even a little more.
Someone said that's a beautiful stone.
Yeah, it's really killer. Wait till you see it in gold. The weight on this stone is 3.6 carats. So it's a 3.6 carat. So that's the jade that's going to go in that ring. I'm putting this gold away. I have to bring it back to work. Now we still have our gold. We have our jade. After we cast this, I'm going to try to clean it up and show you what it looks like. You're going to be shocked how it is cast from a wax. We invested it 2 days ago. Been in the oven. Now we're casting it. It's going to come out in gold, and then we're going to clean it up to set the stone. I'm going to check the temperature again. We're at 1400 degrees. You know, when they say, what is a life of a jeweler? I'll tell you what. So today I have, Ellie's going to film this. Film me making this. I made this pendant. And I drew some designs on here to figure out what I'm going to make with it. And I'm going to make 2 opal earrings. And the reason why we came up with this design was because I originally carved this one in wax. And That's an Ethiopian black opal.
How long have you been making jewelry?
I've been making jewelry for about 40 years, but I never started doing competitions till I started doing competitions in 2015. So in 10 years, we've won 18 National Design Awards, which is pretty cool, you know. And these are the two opals that we picked to match. They match pretty darn close. I'll show you. This one is a little darker, but they match very, very well. We picked through, there's a video of my wife and I. You'll see a picture of my wife on one of the videos shopping in Thailand. And we're going through hundreds, literally hundreds and hundreds of stones to pick out these two stones to match it as best as humanly possible. Now, one is slightly darker than the other, but it's on two separate ears. No one's ever gonna see one and the other one at the same time. So, you know, I mean, they look great. And so I need to make this wax. And the way you make a pair of earrings is so cool, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sheet of wax. I'm going to make it a little thicker. I'm going to make the one piece, and then I'm going to cut it in half. When I cut it in half, I'll flip it over, and now there'll be a left and a right. So that's how you get a left and a right when you're doing something like this. And then you'll just try to do the detail as best as possible so that they match up. So the next step is to make this design on here. It's nice and thick. After I've cut it out, I'll cut the piece out, I'll cut it in half and have my left and right and start putting in the details to match this pretty similar, as you can see. Then I have to make this ring. The next step. This couple wanted salt and pepper diamonds. Salt and pepper diamonds are diamonds that have little specks of black and white. So they're black and white diamonds. They have, you know, what's nice about them is that this is a mixed marriage. Is that the way you would word it? Meaning that you've got two different types of people, and they wanted to represent their different personalities in something that would match in a ring. So we got a salt and pepper engagement ring for his wife or her wife, and then this salt and pepper band will go for the other lady. So I have to make that today. I'm going to make a simple channel band with a tapered angle. The reason I could order it, but if I ordered it and they wanted that taper angle, I'd have to file and file and file, and you're filing away gold. If you're filing away wax, you're not losing any gold. After it's been filed and the diamonds all fit, then it's really easy to go ahead and just cast it and finish it up. So that's my job today. After this, so we just get started. We're gonna cast. Let's go back to the oven and see where it's at. Come on. So we want the oven at about 800, and we are really, really close. So that's spectacular. All right. If I show you inside, this is the flask, and it's ready. So all these little specks, the black specks, are the metal popping, and as it cures, the flask breaks apart, almost like you know, when you've seen rust and the little pieces of metal, they start to sparkle off over time. And most of my stuff is 20, 30, 40 years old, so you know what happens. All right. Our gold, it is right now at 1619. We got 300 degrees to get to 1960. The nitrogen is right perfect, and we're almost ready to go, guys. I'm sorry to hold you up. Let's see, it's 20 minutes past. I'd say within 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to be pouring the gold inside. after I make those 2 waxes today, we have some people that wanted a couple of our designs. So what we've done is we picked out the molds that they want the designs, and instead of having to recarve them, I'll use our wax injector, inject it, and then we can cast 1, 2, 10, 20, whatever we want. And there are all different kinds of designs. What are some fun ones here? I can show you some over here that I like here. I like a lot of them, but you know. A lot of people really like sand dollars. So I hand carved this sand dollar. My niece, my sister-in-law owns a jewelry store in Massachusetts. So I hand carved the sand dollar, and the raised angles in the center, we set diamonds in and cast into gold. Or if it's in silver, we set a sapphire right in the middle. And on the back, you can see the detail I put in for the mouth of the sand dollar. And hidden right here are my initials. So you really can't see them, but they're there. They'll come out better in the middle. Originally, I had made this sand dollar. But she said, can you make me one with 5 holes? So actually, it's 6 holes. The 6th one is for the bail. And the back is the same thing. So we have 2 different types. All right, let's check the temperature. $1,700. God, I hate it. You know when you're on hold on the phone and there's no music playing, it seems like it takes forever. And when there's music playing, you're just listening to the song till it's finished, and all of a sudden they pick up the phone and you're like, God, I wish I could have heard the rest of that song. Well, I'm not going to sing, but I am annoyed. I hate, you know, the one thing about this business and most businesses is that time is money. The more time you take to do something, the less money you make at the end of the day. So it's not that I'm just trying to make money, but I only have so many hours in a day to get the jobs done that I have to get done. So I'm doing this. I like to carve wax from home. I typically do not cast gold from home, but nobody would cast this ring for me in 24 karat gold. Nobody. I mean, I called several different casting companies, and they're like, nope, we don't cast in 24 karat gold. Let's hope the reason why is because it comes out screwed up. And I'm hoping that it's going to come out absolutely perfect, and it'll be a first for me. So that's why we're casting 1 single ring. Typically, you'd never cast 1 ring, because the amount of time that it takes to cast 1, you could cast 20. And then it's more worthwhile. But it has to go into an investment. It has to harden for several hours. Then it goes into an oven for 8 hours, and it gradually goes higher, all the way to 1600 degrees. Then it comes back down to about 800 degrees, holds at that 800 degrees to cast it. Then you have to pour in the gold, inject it, take it out, clean it all up. If I send it to a casting company, they do all that for me and send it back in 5 days. So I got 2 dogs here that are confused. How come we're getting stuck in the other room? All right. We're at 1800. We got 100 degrees to go. When I pour the gold in, you're going to see the thermostat go down. And the reason why is because this gold is not at that temperature yet. But wait till you see how fast this is going to get really hot. And I am going to have to turn on the vacuum. So it is going to be a little loud in there. It might be a little hard for you to hear me. But it's important that vacuum is sucking in all the gold as best as possible so that we don't have any bad spots on it. I definitely do not need 1 ounce of gold to make this ring. But you have a sprue, which is like the wax that goes to the ring. And that we all want to fill with gold as well. Now I can cut that screw off, and I'll show you. I'm going to do it for you as soon as I'm done this. When you cut that screw off, that screw I can reuse. It's pure gold. It's just that I want to use the freshest gold going in all the way into the ring. So we need some force behind it. So you need that extra gold. What do you say, Cooper? All right, we're at 1850, 1815. Come on in. We'll go ahead and put the gold in. So you can see now it's all red here. So it's pretty hot inside. When I open this, flames are going to come out, and it's just because it's hitting the oxygen in the room. All right, so we're at 1827. This is probably going to drop down to about 1790 or so, and then it'll come back up. Put my glasses on. There's the flames, and we're going to pour the gold in. Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure this is down, tight fit, pour the gold in. Now if you look, you might be able to see inside there with the camera. You can see the granulation inside. We need to close that cover, keep the heat in. And what's the temperature looking at?
1853.
1851.
Now it's going down.
See that? A little bit? Not by much. Now because I've never cast 24 karat gold, even though AI said you want to cast it at about 1945, they don't even have calculations, mostly because on pure gold, you don't do it. All right, we're over 1900. It is not melted yet. It's like a countdown. So what I'm going to do is, if you look down here, I'm going to open this up. Let me clean this out real quick. We want to have a nice clean area and a nice clean seal so that vacuum sucks everything in real good. This is for the flask to sit on. After I put it in, I'm going to turn the vacuum up, and then I'm going to close this so it's up nice and tight. Then I will pour the gold. Now, it's almost 1935, 1940, and the gold is melted. We're good to go. Now, this is going to get a little loud, folks, so I'm going to put the compressor on. Now, to see if it works, I'm going to take the flask out. I'm going to do this very quickly. There's the flask. There's the hole where the gold is going to be injected into. Now, notice the pressure coming up, coming up, coming up, coming up. It is drawing all the air out of that flask. And when I inject this, we're going to inject it. 1, 2, let's move it around a little bit. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, now, all that gold's gone. It's been drawn down, sucked down into this flask. So let's see what happens. Shut the vacuum off. You don't have to wait very much time. Because remember, that gold was at 2,000 degrees just about, and the flask was only at 800, 700. We'll open it up. And there is pure gold. And I see it in there, but boy, oh boy, I'm glad I used a whole ounce. So now we're gonna quench this. Because that's pure gold, I don't want to lose any of it. So I'm scraping off the top and I'm going to quench it. Ready? Here we go. You ready, folks? Look at that, a pure 24 karat gold ring. That's awesome. So all that 1 ounce of gold is also here. So see how crappy it is up here? That's what we didn't want in it. That's why we have to add extra. And now here's some more, a little bit more, and by the time it gets to the ring, it's just perfectly clean. So now I'm gonna cut these 2 sprues off. We can reuse this pure gold again, over and over again. But let us clean this off and move on and see what happens. And you're gonna see how good this jade fits right in this ring. Normally I would be setting this in an ultrasonic machine. I am gonna put in ultrasonic for a second, but then I would also be putting in an acid bath. I'm gonna avoid the acid bath right now just to save time, and you can see what's going on. I'm leaving the nitrogen on. This is really important. The reason why is because everything is still at 1900 degrees. So if I shut the nitrogen off, once it's gone out of the system, air will go in and the equipment will burn up. And this machine, which costs a lot of money, you have to replace the parts constantly. Looking at the parts, all the different parts that we have to have all these backup parts because they burn up. And that's with the nitrogen. But let's go ahead in. Come on, guys. Slide over. This is an ultrasonic machine. This is an ultrasonic machine. If you have never used one before, I'll turn it on. And basically, another question for you guys. Has any of you ever seen a pure 24 karat gold ring? Has anybody ever heard of somebody making one? This is a first for me. I opened my store in 1990, but I was a contractor before that. So I've been doing this for quite so many years. I started as a goldsmith apprentice while I was in the military. I was in the Air Force and I was a goldsmith apprentice. And I'll tell you what, if you ever want to be a jeweler, doing basic repairs for like the mall, a mall jewelry store, I was able to buy my first house at 21 years old because I was in the military, I was doing part-time work as a jeweler, and I didn't have any time to spend any money. Putting on a fresh saw blade.
Someone said this is a first for seeing a 24 karat gold ring. Someone making it.
So I don't have a visor. I don't know where it is. I think it's on my desk. Could I get my visor, Ellie? So this is the casting. Now watch what it becomes. This is the casting. I don't know if you can see how much you can see in the, so watch what it becomes in just in the matter of the next few minutes. I'm going to use this. This is a wax that you put on the saw blade so that it runs smooth and doesn't break as quickly. Saw blades tend to break pretty quick. You want to hold your piece as best as possible so it doesn't move around. If it moves around, the blade will break. So we're going to try to cut this off. It's cutting with butter. So if anybody ever said, what's the best metal to use? So many people say 14 karat gold. I have to tell you, you're wrong. 14 karat gold is what the United States has become the symbol of gold in our country, is 14 karat gold. Many parts of the world, in India, gold is 22 karat, sometimes 24 karat. In Saudi Arabia, it's against the law to make anything under 18 karat gold. 18 karat gold is is pure. 18 karat gold is 75% pure gold. Now I've cut through one.
Does gold get softer the higher the purity?
Yes, it does. But so a lot of people don't realize that dental gold is 16 karat gold. It's not 14 karat gold. All right. So 16 karat gold, but they use an alloy which is like steel. It's so hard that people's teeth don't dent, and they don't anything. They don't scratch. They also use a hardening alloy when they make coins, which are also, those are 90% pure. But that's why you can't melt down a gold American coin it says it's an ounce of gold, but actually it weighs 1.1, it weighs 34 grams instead of 31, because the 10% alloy to harden the coin. But that coin, you can't use that gold in a ring because it's brittle. So let's say it didn't fit right and you try to size it. When you bend it up and size it, all right guys, try to bend it up and size it, it'll crack if you use dental gold or if you use a coin for gold. So here we go. So now I have this 24 karat gold ring. There's the sprue I cut off. We will cut this into pieces and we can reuse it to cast. But for right now, we're going to set it to the side and we're going to just take out a little bit more of this investment on the inside. And I want to show you something. I think you're going to be shocked. I don't even need to use a file because I made this so smooth. It does look a little grainy, but that's what happens when you cast. So here, this is just emery paper.
Is 24 karat gold harder to work with?
Is it what?
Is it harder to work with?
No. So, when you say 24 karat gold is like putty, but you have to make sure, look, I made the shank nice and thick. It's wider. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to bend or anything. But now I just sanded one side. I didn't sand this side, but watch what's going to happen. Now I'm going to go down to another emery paper. And I'm just going to turn that around. I'm not showing you. Wait till you see this. So I have a wax drawer and a gold drawer. So I use this little pan to catch any gold filings. All right, what are we going to use? Let's use this. Now there is a buffing. This is just gonna. So now that's where it was cast. I just hit it with 2 pieces of sandpaper, right? All right, watch what happens. I mean, it's like glass. This wheel has too much compound on it. I did not even use Tripoli. You have Tripoli, which takes out scratches. I just took out the scratches. Rouge takes out the scratches. I'm not getting anywhere. You know, it's really fun when you make up to do a video like this and you don't have all the parts sitting in front of you that you're supposed to be using. So why don't we, let me see. Ah, there it is. All right, I found it. Sorry for the delay. This is a brand new brush. Usually I'd be using a big buffing wheel. The green is a green rouge. I'm going to hit this in the ultrasonic and I'm going to show you that part to this part. So let's look in the ultrasonic here. And I'm really kind of doing this for your benefit. You normally wouldn't be buffing it now, but here's a casted piece, and then look how smooth that is. It's absolutely perfectly smooth. So when I hammer in the jade all the way around, I'm gonna have to file it and sand it and polish it again. But let's get the jade. All right, and a moment of truth. It doesn't fit all the way in intentionally because when you're casting, the wax shrinks approximately 2%. So it's a little tighter, which is great because when I grind it out to make it fit, it's gonna be snug as a bug. And I'm gonna hammer down the edge and it'll be in there. So let's open it up and do that. I do want to show you. So this is where it was cast. You see these two sprue marks where it was cast. So the goal is to remove those and never know they were there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that real quick. I'm not going to set the stone until I can clean this up a little bit. Now, if you notice, look at the filings, those gold filings. Every single bit of gold filings, that's money. So you save all your dust and you can send it into a company like United Refining. That's who I use. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just very, very happy with them. They do a great job. They will send me a card and information, and it'll say how much silver was in it, how much gold was in it, what was the carat of gold, how much platinum was in it, and then they pay you for each one of those things. When I closed my first store, I wanted to open a bigger store. So about 15 years ago, I closed my first store. Actually, I closed it in 2017. And we tore up the carpet that went into the shop. It was stairs. And I cut up these strips of carpet. And I had some filings that I've been saving for some time. And I had the carpet that I mailed to them. They're one of the few companies that'll take carpet. I have to say, I can't tell you the number because I think it'll just shock the heck out of you. I got in the tens of thousands of dollars of gold dust that had settled to the bottom of that carpet. And even though you're vacuuming the carpet, when you vacuum, we save every single bit. we save the dirt from the carpet. We save the filings. We put our fingers, when we wash them off, it goes through a filter underneath the sink, which is a gold trap. And it saves every little particle. Look at the gold on my fingers. Can you see that? So that gold, every tiny little bit, maybe it's a penny or two, but there's 10,000 of them. Now, cutting the sprue off, I am not going flat. I'm turning. I want to not create a flat spot. I'm going to show you guys something that is going to surprise you, maybe disappoint you, maybe I don't know, but it's kind of freaky to me what's happening. There's something happening here that I did not expect, and I guess that's what happens. You remember, gold is super soft, right? Soft metal. I'm removing these two sprues and they're just about gone. Check this out. You're gonna be shocked. It's no longer round. The ring bent just from me hitting it with that file. So I'm gonna just put it on here. Now you can see it's out of shape. Now what you can do is using a rawhide mallet, instantly you can put this back to round and back to his ring size. Ring size of 9.5, there it is. It's back, oh, it's almost back to round. Yeah, it's back to round. It's back to round. So, it is gonna bend on him. So this is gonna be a Sunday ring, I would imagine. But this guy here, he's definitely a professional and is going to take very good care of this ring. But at some point, we might end up even making the shank even thicker by cutting it on both sides and putting even a thicker one on, so there's less risk of it bending. This is the first 24 karat gold ring I've made, but the guy bought a 24 karat gold ring from me, and that's how this all got started. So this will be his second 24 karat gold ring.
How do you stamp the ring with the purity mark?
We have purity marks in every category. So 10, 14, 18, 20, 22. I don't think I have a 24. So what I'll do is we'll hand engrave. I've engraved in the inside my initials on one side, and I engraved on the other side 24K right there. So I used a pick and I carved that into the wax. So now I'm going extremely light, and I'm making sure I cannot see anywhere that sprue was attached. It's the same process whatever carat you're using. But if you notice, the ring is domed, so it's much thicker there, and it doesn't get hollowed out till up near the top. I guess what we should do is let's go over and weigh this. Let's see what the gold weight is. Any guesses? Remember, this was an ounce of gold. So how many grams of gold do we have left? 31.1 in an ounce, so let's go see. And then we'll come back and finish this up and I'll set the stone. I'm going to tear this to 0. $14.7. So if it was 15, 15.6, 15.55 would be a half an ounce of gold. With the stone in it, it is going to weigh just about that amount, I would imagine. But it's a half an ounce of pure 24 karat gold. He ordered this ring a couple weeks ago. It's taken me that long to carve the wax, cast it, and everything else. In that time, gold has gone up $350 an ounce. $350 an ounce. Now, a lot of times you say, you know, I'm a jeweler, I do a lot of silver, and I gotta tell you, it takes the same amount of time to do it in silver as it does in gold. But if you're replacing a part and you're trying to do some jewelry work for other shops and things like that, and you have to get in a spring ring. All right, so I need to get a new spring ring for a chain that broke, and in silver, and it's going to cost me $2 or $3, and I have to pay for shipping. So I might charge the store $10 because it covers the shipping, and I make a buck or two on the spring ring. Then I have to put a little jump ring on it if it doesn't have one, and solder it, so there's another $5. So now I charge $15. Now, if it was a gold clasp, I get it in at $60, and I put $20 on it for shipping and a little bit of profit for me. And then I put a jump ring on it and solder it, and that's another $2 for the jump ring, $3 for the jump ring, and then $10 to solder it's $13. Now we're at $73. So the same job that took the same amount of time, it's either $73 or $15. You sure would have to do a lot more work at $15 a piece. And it's $73 to do it in about 20 minutes to change a clasp. You can do the math. It's a very good job. You make people happy. It's probably the best trade that I know of in the world. You know, my friend said to me the other day, would you trade your job for any other job? Do you know anybody that you would trade your job with for a better job? And I laughed and I said, you know, you're absolutely right. I don't know any other job that is this rewarding, because people come in with rings that are run over and trashed and drop down the, you know, they get dropped down the garbage disposal, or you know, damaged, or just the prongs wear out and they lose a diamond, and you get to make them come back to life. You get to make them look like the day they bought them, brand spanking new. This ring, I can't believe I have not had to file this ring, except for the screws. I haven't had to file any. Now I'm trying to keep that roundedness, so you see I'm again curving. Always curve. You always curve, so you don't get flat spots. The sign of a crappy jeweler has all these flat spots all over the place because they don't know. They file and they turn and file. You have to turn here and turn here at the same time, and you have no flat spots. Now you want to get this down to 90%. Why 90? Because you're going to hit it with another emery paper, which is finer. That's going to take the extra 10. But why make it thin? Why do too much? You don't want to do too much. Many times people will bring a ring in to be sized, and they get it back and they're like, oh, it wasn't that thin. Well, they had to solder it, they had to file it, they had to sand it, and they had to sand it again, and they had to buff it. So by not sanding too much, you're not cutting into their original ring. All right, we're going to use this flex shaft, and what we're going to do is we're going to sand the inside. tools. There it is, right in front of me. Now, this is one of the emery papers that I took off the stick, and I just cut a piece off. This bit has a slice in it. You just put it in the slice, step in the pedal, twist it around, and now I want to get all this gold dust off as best as possible. So it drops in my pan, and now I'm going to sand the inside. When I'm done sanding the inside, you'll be able to see my initials, and you'll be able to see the 24 karat gold mark. See how I'm keeping this moving? I see one spot, but I'm keeping it moving so I don't have any flat spots. Now, there are still some small marks at the very top, but I didn't take those out yet because I am going to hammer down to hold the jade, and then I'll have to file and sand again. So, as again, don't want to overdo it. All right, now we're going to open up the hole for the jade. This is when you've got to be careful. At least I think so. And I say I think so because this is pure gold. So I'm not used to doing it in pure gold. I don't want to overcut the seat. I'm going to do it little by little. I'm trying to get this so that you can see it's on the camera. Notice I use my thumb to balance everything. I'm using my hands to balance everything so that there's less vibration and less risk. And I'm just going to barely take a little bit. Any little possible burrs that could be in there, anything that's holding that stone up from going in. Now, I want to mention something. I told you about this jade that we handpicked it on a buying trip. It's almost in. Look at that. I mean, it's really, really, really on the edge. I could probably snap it, but what if I snapped it and snapped the stone? So we can't do that. I'm going to take a tiny bit more. So here's a great story you really, really should know about. We have we needed a stone for a customer, and I called one of my local manufacturers. We needed 3mm aquamarines, and I called the company up, and this is a very big local company that many jewelers use, and they said the stones were going to cost me $20 a piece. And I said, okay, let's call one of our stone dealers that we met on one of our buying trips and see what they're going to charge us. They sent us a whole parcel and said, take what you want, and they're going to be $6 a piece. That was less than a third the price. And think about it. trying to get a jade like this in the United States would have cost me 3 carats, $2,000 a carat, $6,000. I sold this stone for the $2,000. So I made money at $2,000, but it would have cost me so much more. So going on these buying trips, I'm still not there. I'm still not there. Let's go the other way. All right, just a tiny bit more. I keep saying that, don't I? So knowing the right vendors, I'm happy to share information privately, who to buy from, that could save you a lot of money if you're an independent jeweler or a jeweler that's trying to, become a jeweler or open their own business. All you have to do is reach out to me, send me an email, and we'll share whatever information we can. You can see the seat, so the stone won't drop through. Oh, jeez, look at that. We're talking about a 1/10 of a millimeter. It doesn't even want to come out. It's that close to being in. I'm going to use a different burr. This burr is angled slightly. I'm going to use a straight up and down burr. It's not really the right burr for this. I don't know if I want to use it. I'm going to use it. See what happens. It was bouncing around a little bit, that burr. That means it's a little bit more coarse than I want it to be. Come on, go, 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 go. I'm going back to the other burr. I'm too nervous. So by having that angle, it's countersinking. Instead of the walls being like this, it's underneath like that. So it's going to, when it fits in, the gold's going to want to fold over a little bit easier as well. My hand in the way. Nope. Now there's another trick. I could take a pliers and I could pull this open. But with it being 24 karat gold, I would be denting that metal. Then I have to file and sand that metal. So I don't want to do that. I don't even have 24 karat gold for my laser in case there was a bad spot. So I would have to pretty much roll out some wire. I could use this, roll it out, make it into wire, use it on the laser, and laser in a spot that had a big pit if there was one. Luckily, there's no pits on this ring.
Come on, baby. Come on. The dogs are gonna think I'm talking to them. Nope. This is annoying. Ugh. That was wax I put on the burr. I did it for two reasons. One, it'll save the life of the burr, but it also allows me to see the amount of gold I'm cutting. Because that might be the issue. I might not be cutting enough gold. I turn the ring around. You see the little specks and particles? Can you see that with the camera?
Yeah, a little bit.
Now let's say I cut this too big. It truly doesn't matter, because when I hammer it around, it's gonna fit in. It's gonna fit right down in nice and tight. Oh, nope. Now, I'm a goldsmith. I went to New York for advanced model making and custom design and stone setting. But I have a stone setter. He didn't have this darn stone set probably half an hour ago. But he's at the store, and I thought I didn't do the video. But remember, I was talking about time before. Time is money. I've got a guy that just sets stones, and he's the best. He is absolutely, you have to hire the best. You want somebody that's better than you. He also does wax carving. But that's the love of my job. I love carving wax, so unless I can't get them all done, I don't. He helps me when I need it. Ah, look at that. It's still up. It's still up. I can hear it. Hear that? It's not down. I'm gonna see if I have a better burr. I do. Ooh. So this is a much more coarse burr. Same burr. I'm gonna use it. I'm using burrs that I use for wax carving and goldsmithing. I use many of the same burrs. Now notice, my finger is holding this in place. This other finger is holding it in place so that I am not going to slip. But boy, I can feel the teeth of this burr really cutting in. See how it's shaking inside. Now, remember how quickly I made the wax? That's why I said it's so much better if you can carve it in wax, because doing like this, go baby, go, come on. This takes a long time in metal. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna ream the edge using a ball burr. And what that's going to do is going to round the edge of the top. Hopefully that roundness is going to open it up so that the stone drops in. So instead of going down low, I'm going to go all the way up near the top here. With with the hope that that little lip was holding the stone and dropping in. And it is much closer, but it's still not all the way in. Which would you rather have? It done in a matter of moments or done correctly? You just have to have a little patience. And when you're talking about an extremely valuable ring, you want to take your time and make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability. So instead of going to the top, now I've lowered it down to the next level lower. So that's round burr. Also, this stone is not flat on the bottom, it's slightly rounded. So I'm going to use this round burr and I'm going to hit the seat and round it slightly. Hopefully that could be what's holding this up as well from going all the way down. I know it would snap in. I know it would. Or if it snapped in half, I'd be dead. The reason why I'd be dead, you know, they say a diamond is one of the rarest stones on earth. Try to match two perfectly shaped, perfectly matching color gemstones. 2 rubies, 2 emeralds, 2 sapphires, 2 jades of this caliber, this great of a stone. It would be so difficult to find a match. So what I'm going to do is, what time is it? We're going to be running out of time for me to get the other waxes done. So if I can't get this stone in, I'm going to send it in and have my stone setter finish this up. Then Ellie will go to the shop and video him setting it. I am not going to stop this video until this stone is in the ring. What other burr should I use? What other burr should I use? Anybody that's a jeweler that's watching, tell me which burr I should use. I have some thoughts. This is a diamond burr. And that is going to cut. This is going to cut deeper underneath, hopefully allowing the stone to sneak in. A lot of times in this kind of a situation, it really is trial and error. This would be the longest it ever took me to set a stone in my whole life. Well, I think it did it. Nope. Alright, I'm gonna try something else. I'm going to ream out the edge of the bezel to hopefully open it up. This is a burnisher. It can be used to set a stone, but in this case I'm going to use it to open the bezel. Oh, did you hear that? That wasn't the stone. Thank God. Come on. Oh. Alright, now I'm going to go back to my tried and true burr, the original one that I first started with, and I'm going to try to create that side wall. One thing I'm not liking is that I'm seeing some of the walls bending on me. And when they bend like that, the question is, how soft is that gold getting? Now, bezel setting is so much better than prong setting. And the reason why is because you got to think about it like this. It's a giant prong. If it was just 4 prongs, then you cut the seat, set the stone. But when it's a whole bezel all the way around, it's in there forever. Or at least till the gold wears out. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks pretty good. It's not all the way down. It's in there, but it's not all the way down. Now, one of the things that they did with this jade is they cut it lower. The dome is lower on one side than it is on the other side. So I have to compensate for that as I set it, and try to set it so that the one side is actually set just a tiny bit lower, so it looks equal, even. Boy, this is annoying. It's in. You can see the bezels above it, right there. But it's not, I'm not happy with it. It's not in far enough. I need it to be down low enough so that the stone has enough metal holding it in place. You know, part of you wants to just go crazy and cut and cut and cut. But the thing is, you just can't do that. You just gotta take your time. It is down. It is in. But it's not low enough. Turn it around. Remember, this is an uncalibrated stone. Look at it's in. You see that? It's down. It's in. It's not coming out. But I'm not happy because I want it to go a tiny bit more. Did you get my visor? Can I see that, please? Excuse me. This visor is 7 times stronger than your eyes. So anybody that wears reading glasses, a 1 or a 2, this is 7 times. This will help me to get that last little bit so I know I've done it. All right, one side is down. One side is down. That's good. All right, now I just have one last. I gotta work on this side right here, just a little bit. It's all right.
Shh. Tucker. Here.
So what I just did was I just took a burnisher and I opened it. And by opening, it did it. It dropped it down. But when I look underneath, I see it has not gone all the way down. Oh, that looks good. Yay! I did it. Got it. I got it. The stone is down. Now, if you look this way, you can see the stone is down. Evenly on both sides. So the next thing I'm going to do is, typically you would hammer this down, but I don't think that it can take it. Meaning the golds, not the... So I'm going to use that same burnisher. And I'm going to burnish over the metal to hold it into place. And then you take a very sharp edge and you ream the edge. And what that does is it'll fold in that little edge all the way around the whole stone. Now, see if you can watch the metal. Can you see this up close, Sally?
Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens with the metal. See how shiny it is just from that burnisher?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm turning the mandrel and keeping my hand as still as possible. so I don't hit the stone. I can see where the stone is touching and where it's not. Now is when I want to hammer it. That stone's in. It's not coming out. There's nothing that's going to make that stone come out. But I need to make this edge perfectly smooth. No waves, no nothing. And I can't do that until this stone is set all the way around, all the way 150%. So I'm going to just keep using the burnisher. Even though I said I want to use a hammer, I'm not going to. I don't want to screw it up after all of this. I'm gonna have to hammer. Now there's an electric hammer, and I don't think that that would be a good idea. So we make little pieces, burrs, that we can cut and make into little, almost like a miniature nail. Here is my miniature nail. See all the gold dust on this paper? So if I tear it off, I got nice fresh paper, and we save that gold dust to go and be refined. Now we have nice clean paper. We can put a nice edge. I call it a nail, it's not a nail. Now, can you see that edge here? It's flat. It's not round. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to hammer this bezel without hitting the stone. I'm gonna look at the dents that it put in the metal, because the gold is so soft. It's touching, completely touching. Now, the one thing is that normally you wouldn't need to be doing what I'm doing, but it's a 24 karat gold ring. So I'm trying to take extra precautions so that I don't screw it up. My jeweler, who's my shop manager, who I love, a wonderful man, and he told the guy, we can't do that in 24 karat gold. And I said, yes, we can. Just tell him we can. Just say yes. One way or the other, it's going to be done. If somebody else can do it, why can't we? And we did. So notice, I'm using my finger to stabilize it on the stone so that that bit never moves. And turn around, bring around. And when I do, I see some openings here on this side. Just a little. My father always said, there's no such word as can't. I didn't go to college. I had some college, but I took classes to be the best jeweler I can be all across the country. I've gone to the Blaine Lewis School for a class or two. I've gone to the GRS School out in Wichita, Kansas. I studied at the Quinn School of Art in Washington, D.C. Went to New York for advanced model making, custom design. At the cork ring, it was like, whoa, it's $5,000 for the class, and you get this many credits. And I said, well, what is it if I don't want any credits? I don't need the credits. I already own a jewelry store. I already own my own business. I just want to take the class. And it was like $500. So I spent $500 instead of $5,000. Took a class over and over and over again to learn how to sculpt. And sculpting is awesome. It's a lot of fun. I am getting down. I am literally now. See how that burnisher slipped down here and it made the metal shiny? Watch what happens. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to use a file for the first time on this portion of it. And what I want to do is I want to make the thickness here the same, equal all the way around. So I want to kind of bring that in just a little bit. There's a smooth side of this file and a rough side. And if I'm rubbing it up against my finger, I want it to be the smooth side so it doesn't take the skin off my finger. And I'm doing it gently, and I don't want, this is the first time I am not going to curve the top because I don't want to hit that stone. And I'm being pretty gentle. Now that the stone's in, you really don't want to do anything that could scratch it, although you could probably polish it out, but it's one more step you don't need to do. Kind of neat to have a 24 karat gold ring. Now there's a file that is called a barrette file. A barrette file is smooth on two sides. There's no teeth on this side and on this side, and there's teeth on this side. This is a 0, or is it a 2? This is a 0. This is super fine. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm rubbing this right up against the jade, but because there's no teeth on it, it's not going to scratch the jade. But I am still using my finger to control it so it doesn't slip and scratch the stone. Remember how rough that looked on that side? Now look at it this side. Just from a few strokes. Now that I've got a little base, I don't need to hold it with my finger as much. There's a part that is still sticking out just a tiny bit. I would imagine the customer wouldn't notice it, but with this visor being 7 times stronger than my eye, I see that there's a tiny little gap right there. But remember, I'm gonna take a burnisher and I'm gonna round it. And when it rounds, it's gonna fold it in and it should touch the stone, so it shouldn't have a problem. Because I do mostly wax work here, I don't have everything that I would like in my studio at home. So I'm going to take this ring in and we will finish cleaning it up at the store, and you will get a finished look of it. But I am going to do one more, maybe two. I'm going to use a pumice wheel. Now this, you do not want to touch a stone. If you touch a stone, you're going to scratch a stone. I'm still using that little barrette file because it's so fine, it's barely coarse. And I saw a little tiny flat spot. Going back to my bigger file, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit more now that I know how much I need to do. You know, they say making a ring, it might take, you know, an hour or two to make this ring, but the finish, if it's done properly, the finish might take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, because you want it to look the best that it could possibly look. All right, and then cleaning it up. Don't hit the stone. I'm covering the stone with my fingernail. I have done this at Christmas time when I've done it so much that I've cut right through my fingernail. But your fingernail is going to stop it from hitting anything. So it's important to protect that stone any way you can. You know, it's funny, when you're using a laser, you can actually use your fingernail to protect a softer stone in case that laser is off just a tiny bit. It'll put a little stain or mark on your fingernail, but it won't hit the stone, wouldn't break the stone. So you learn that the hard way. The hard way being breaking the stone. In the old days, if an emerald ring that had 20 emeralds, if a prong broke, it was a disaster because you had to take 20 emeralds out to fix one prong. And taking them out and putting them back in, you'd end up, having to fix 10 prongs. But now, with the laser, you can leave all the stones in, protect them by covering them like this, and then you're only fixing the one prong, and it's done. It comes out great, and you didn't have to remove all the stones. So guess what? It's a lower cost to the customer because there wasn't all this labor involved. So one of the best things that we ever bought was a laser machine. And tabletop, we bought them years ago when they were 60 grand. Now, under 20. I have a tabletop that I use here. It's under $20,000. It's fantastic. Now remember that ring had lost shape before. It didn't lose any shape now. And I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the softer sandpaper. And then I think we're going to be done for the day, folks. I'll take it into the shop and buff it properly. And do any other little tiny things that we see under the microscope. And then we'll be able to call our customer and say, it's done. 24 karat gold ring. Now remember, I put on that fresh emery paper. Look at the gold. And that gold is a minuscule amount of gold, but it all adds up. It's hard to believe this was a block of wax just a couple days ago.
Someone said thank you so much for sharing this today.
Absolutely. I wish that the one thing I don't like here at my house is my buffer, the big buffer that would really put a nice shine on this and everything else isn't very good. It's not set up. It doesn't have good ventilation, and it's not good for your health to not have good ventilation. So I don't use it. I'm going to have to get that squared away. But for right now, basically, I'm just taking out any fine little scratches, making everything uniform so that when I buff it, there's no flat spots, there's no nothing, and it ends up being a beautiful ring. I think that the last thing we should do is why don't we go in and weigh it. Let's see what the final weight is after I filed away some metal and cut away a little bit of metal. Remember, it was about 14, was it 14? 14.7?
Yeah.
Grams. So with the stone in it, so here, look at this. There's a little bit more I want to do on the bezel, and I want to burnish it in all the way around. Set, clean, beautiful, finished, and what do you think? Wait till that thing is
That's killer.
polished. It is going to be a knockout. And you will see that later on today. If you tune in, you'll see it later on today, the finished the finished product. All right, let's go weigh it. So it weighed 14.7 grams before I set the stone. There it is, finished, pure 24 karat gold ring. Look at that. Now the stone added a little weight. We took a little bit off by filing and sanding it, but we're still right above 15 grams, which is a half an ounce of gold. Pure 24 karat gold with a spectacular jade. I hope you liked watching this video today. I hope you learned something. I'm sorry that I haven't finished it 100%, but you will see a finished piece of it on video. Subscribe and you'll see different things we do all the time. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.